welcome to the kitchen. Now, by the time of recording this, it's not my birthday. By the time of you're watching this, it's probably not my first day either, unless you happen to be watching this on the 15th of March at any given year, of course. But I can't really compensate for that in any matter because that's in the future. But by the day I'm uploading this, it's definitely the 15th of March, which is my birthday. And today's episode, we are going to be making Helltaker Pancakes. Now, there are two reasons why I decided to make the Helltaker Pancakes. I'm a huge fan of Helltaker, or at least have become that, because it's freaking awesome. And the second is because I need to prepare on how the hell to use a kitchen, because my family has decided that they will come and visit me, so I actually have to learn how the fuck to bake a cake in the meantime. Also, there's the fact that my phone won't stop telling me that it's my fucking birthday. It's like everyone wants to remind me about the fact that I'm dying and getting old. So, starting out with the Helltaker Pancake thingamajig, we need a couple of ingredients. We need milk, we need other things. We need apparently 3 ingredients plus an additional one. That being milk, eggs, and flour. The problem? My wife has about 37 types of flour in her apartment. When I pretty much moved together and more or less got the equivalent of a wife for myself, I also discovered a lot of kitchen stuff that I didn't know. Such as there approximately exist 37 types of different flour. We're only going to use one type here because to me flour is flour. We're going to take this one here. Yeah, that looks right. Why the hell my wife equivalent has her flour in what is, I presume, an ammunition box from an MG3 machine gun, but I'm not going to ask why she has flour in a box for an MG3 machine gun. Now, another problem I at least find myself in is the fact that the recipe uses the measurement in volume rather than mass. Ergo, it uses cups rather than grams. Which means when it requires a cup of something, that puts me somewhere between this thing and this thing. Now, I have no idea of how much a cup of flour actually is, but a quick conversion told me that it was approximately 120 grams of flour. So, the only way to calculate that we have 120 grams is of course to take our measurement device, which is probably older than I am and anyone else who is going to be watching this video, and then carefully apply flour till it reaches the designated level. Now, my wife actually gave me a hint, and she decided or determined or took the responsibility of saying that I should use this, whatever the hell this thing is. Apparently it won't add up if I don't. Apparently everything goes to hell, even though that's kind of what we want. I need an air compressor. I won't pretend like I know how the fuck cooking works. I only did it for like 8 years on my own. Alright, clearly that was not enough flour, but how much flour was this exactly? It wasn't even 150 grams. Or was it? Nope, far from it. Okay, we definitely passed 150 grams, but what about 200 then? Nope. Alright, we definitely passed 200. Did we pass 250? Nope. Did we pass 240? I hope Lucifer appreciates the suffering I just went through to get here. So now that we're done with this hellish device, this thing just goes in the bowl, at least I think it does, without any further delay. Let's hope this doesn't freaking spill everywhere. And it didn't this time around. Great. Now, when it comes to getting the right amount of milk, I basically have 3 options. I can use a measuring jar like this one that applies for milk. I can take X amount of milliliters, compensate for the density of milk, because I know how many grams 2 cups is supposed to be. I could do it the horrifying way of using the same measurement device with a cup where I have compensated for the cup's weight and applies it as I go along. Now, the recipe does just add it all together, uncontrollably, uncoordinated or anything. But my wife suggested that I add all the solids or the semi-solids first and then apply milk afterwards as I stir. She also has more experience in the field than I do, so I'm going to obey her commands. She also suggests that eggs should be knocked on the counter and then cracked over here, rather than knock on the edge and crack over here, as I grew up with. So I suggest that since I need 2 eggs to get the right amount, I'm going to do one of both. That way I annoy everyone. How the fuck is this supposed to work? That's not how that works. That's not how eggs work. It may not appear that way, but a lot of my diet actually consists of eggs. It's just my lack of motivation, or motivation to do anything except for actually sitting at home or being alive. Now, me being an inefficient idiot decided to do this the most inefficient and idiotic way you can possibly do. Now, the recipe says 1 cup of milk for every single individual that is attending the meal, which means 2 individuals. Now, 1 cup of milk was the equivalent of 240 grams of milk according to the device, the calculator, the magical thing that's called the internet. Which means, whenever I am trying to do 1 cup of milk, I have to compensate for the mass of the cup. Which means, first of all, we need to find the mass of the cup, which is currently unknown. 350. That's too heavy. 300 grams of cup. Now we have to apply 240, stir, and then apply some more milk. If this is not enough for it to get the right content or substance, I will of course apply more milk. I have no idea of how much. This is going to be 540 grams. So we have to do like that. And then put this one to 0. And then do like that. I made it too heavy. It appears I applied 325 grams in the first cup. That's fine, I just have to compensate for it in the next cup. And now for the part that is described in the recipe as stir as if your life depends upon it. Gently apply the remaining milk that you will need. In my case that would be equivalent to 455 grams of milk, which we almost reached. Apply it softly without delay and stir as if your life depends on it. I will have my revenge! All the things you did to my people! Now, it was suggested that I use this kitchen appliance to do the work for me, but I don't have a license to operate it, and I'm the one doing the dishes, so I would rather not. Now, I actually did buy this tiny frying pan for just such an occasion a long time ago, but since then my wife has laid claim to it, and I have never ever had a chance to use it. I'm not allowed to use it, and I'm not going to use it, because I have this. Now, because I'm an adult man who has lived on his own for more than 8 years, I apparently don't know how a stove works according to some people. So I actually asked my wife for some pointers on how the hell to operate this stove and how to make proper pancakes. And her judgment only predicts completely what it says in the recipe. In this case, I think I'm just going to ignore both suggestions and do my own thing, because I have to get the pancakes as thin as possible and at the same time not get them too thin, because then they won't get pretty. I won't pretend like I care about the cosmetics of a freaking pancake. So now that the pan is actually hot and ready to go, we actually run into a bit of a predicament, because it doesn't specify how hot the pan should be. It doesn't specify exactly how much whatever the hell that thing is, I'm supposed to take at a time. It just specifies that I should try to make it as thin as possible, while I at the same time apparently shouldn't make it too thin, because then it will burn. This requires inhuman precision and balance of molecules. It's really much just guesswork whether or not this is going to go well. Let's try it, if it's hot enough at least. Take a little hold, this is nice and even, and then apply it. This is not hot enough at all. This is supposed to make a swoosh sound. It's not hot enough at all. It's not round. This was a fucking mistake. This is the most unrounded pancake I've ever seen. I don't think Justin would approve of this pancake. I'm not gonna lie. Let's try and poke it, see what happens. Well, it definitely is solid and it is thin, but does it have the right concept? Huh. Okay. It didn't exactly fall apart like I would have expected it to do. I think we're going to give it a bit more than the 40 seconds because this doesn't even look like a proper pancake yet. It's not burnt enough on any surfaces at all. Okay, this pancake has now been on for twice as long as I expected it should have been, but it's definitely not exactly done yet. Something's definitely happening. Maybe I applied too much oil, maybe I applied too much butter, maybe I made it too thick, maybe something else happened. Maybe the gods of chaos just didn't decide this should be a good pancake, but it hasn't burned yet. And it hasn't fallen apart yet. That's like a win, one way or another, at least in my book. This is the first time I make a pancake in 18 years. Have some mercy upon my soul, pancake gods out there. I do have one thing to note, however. I'm using an electric stove, and Vanripper, the creator of Helltaker, appears to be using a gas stove. That may or may not play a role into this, because I don't really seem to be able to get the right temperature. Or I'm just flipping back and forth and done pancake because I have no idea what a pancake's supposed to look like. I mean, it looks like something that could have been a pancake. Just try and take off a corner here. I mean, it does have a hint of pancake, but there's no sugar in the recipe, so it really just is dough. So now that we've gotten the frying pan up to speed, let's actually try again a couple of times till we run out of this and see how the pancakes turn out, because there's an additional step afterwards. You hear that? The sound of progress, my friend. And then let's try this amount. Well, I made a triangle pancake. I mean, circles and triangles, they aren't so unalike, are they? Much better. Look at that. That looks like a freaking pancake that's been run through a triangle machine. Get the fuck off my spatula. Yes, I did wash my hands before doing this. Don't worry. Alright, let's actually try and make it round. Not that I think it's going to go very well. Well, Ooh! Oh! 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 It definitely doesn't have sharp edges, but it didn't exactly become round this time either. Oh, look at that. It looks like a freaking pancake. It actually does have what it takes to be a freaking pancake. I feel like Bender from Futurama whenever he tries to make something edible for humans. Look at this one. This one is almost round. Almost. Look at this. This one is freaking round. Or rounded. You know, if I have an entire minute to do whatever the hell I want with my time while these pancakes are cooking, that also means that I could prepare for the next step. Look at this one! This one even looks like the one in the freaking picture. You know, I think I could actually become good at this if I bother to do this on a regular basis. Now, I'm not exactly a nutrition, but this is just eggs, flours and milk mixed together on its own. There's like not really any sugar unless you include the lactose and whatever might else be in the flour and such, or whatever protein and such there might be in eggs. So on itself, these pancakes are perfectly fine to eat as long as you're not lactose intolerant. Even if you are, you could just use a substitute for regular milk. But that means this is not that unhealthy until I add whatever kind of sugar and chocolate that I'm going to add on top. This is the last pancake. Let's see how it turns out. Definitely sticks more to the pan than the other ones. Alright, so the last one wasn't the best one. The best one was probably like 3 or 4 pancakes ago. That's a weird unit of measurement I just used right there. So now we have some pancakes that absolutely have zero sugar and almost no flavor to them. Here comes the fun part. Applying chocolate to your heart's delight. If you for some reason don't want chocolate or want something alternative, you can use a substitute of jam, marmalade or honey. Now the recipe also suggests that you should use someone called Smetana, but I don't know who Smetana is and I do not care for her well-being. Also, Smetana is not applicable in my country. Now the function of Smetana was that she should compensate for the ridiculous sweetness that you're going to apply whenever you apply chocolate to your pancakes. The problem I have with that is that pretty much just sounds like the same thing Coca-Cola is doing whenever Coca-Cola applies acid to your drink to compensate for how much sugar is in it per cubic unit of measure. So why the hell bother to add so much that it becomes so sweet that it's unedible to yourself? Now one experience I do have with pancakes is you just want to apply one straight line of it and then you want to fold it in a different direction because that way you get the best result. So if I do like this, then whatever the hell that is spread evenly throughout the pancake. The alternative is to just apply layers and layers of stuff, and well, if you truly wanna die young or have struggle with diabetes on a regular basis, well, that's your thing. Despite my appearance, I technically do not really enjoy candy and sweet stuff that much. I technically prefer nuts. I just am a big blob when it comes to get the motivation to actually go somewhere and exercise. And then we have the final result. So this is the final result of this pancake adventure here that I'm making on my birthday. Now I actually do have other recipes that I want to test out at least at some point, but for now this will be the first one. They actually turned out pretty neat. So this has been Necro and Cortex here making pancakes. If you want one, you can come and take one, but please do like, subscribe and share it with your friends. Until next time that I bring you guys to my kitchen or play a video game of some sort, bye bye, and I'll see you guys around out there.